What's up guys, SkyKevin here, and today we're going over the current state of Last Oasis as of the new commerce update that's been released since a few days ago on the beta branch. We're going to be going over how this has affected the player base, the changes that I've noticed so far, and my thoughts and suggestions for any future possible updates. So, let's get started. As of the new beta branch update for LO on October 22nd, we can see the player base has increased by about 1,000 players, maybe 750 depending on the time of day. This is obviously because of the new update coming out with a lot of people wanting to try it, but I personally know that there are quite a few clans waiting for the actual main branch push before they start playing the game. Hopefully though, the game can keep these numbers up for the next month or so until they do decide to have that wipe and introduce the changes to the main game branch. The most substantial changes come with the new modification to flots and how they are used. Now they can be exchanged as a physical currency as well as stay banked in the trade station. These trade stations all have flots connected throughout the world. This means that you can deposit on one map and go anywhere else to take them out for later. Realistically, the only reason someone needs to withdraw flots is to use the wandering merchants that will now randomly spawn on every map. These are basically NPCs that sell different types of random special goods, such as potions, fragments, and even tablets. Other than this, there aren't really any other uses for keeping flots on you, unless you're planning on giving it to other players. The other uses for your bank flots, however, have increased drastically. For instance, when spawning on other tiles, there's now a cooldown of 5 minutes. If you try within the cooldown, it costs 100 flots per jump within that time frame. Additionally, flots can now be donated to your clan to reserve slots in a server during certain time frames. Basically, you bid on the time and then get an extra 1 to 10 slot, depending on your bid, where clanmates can skip the server queue. Lastly, flots can be used for their most obvious purpose, by buying and selling things on the trade station. The stations themselves have been updated, so now the vault in the top right corner where you can pick up flots are connected on every server as well, meaning that you can put whatever items or gear or resources you want for sale and collect that money from any other tile in the game. Keep in mind that this does not work for buy orders, as you will still need to pick up things in the grid that they are sold. I believe this is simply so that you can't teleport items across the maps by buying and selling them. Additionally, they now have a list and sales tax for putting items on the market. The listing tax is 2% of whatever value you set on the item, and the sales tax is another 8% respectively. There's also a new auctions tab on the markets that will generate and sell items every 6 to 8 hours. These are auctions for strong boxes that can contain things like tablets, tools, and gear from any tier up to and including iron. There are so far 2 ways to generate flots in the game, aside from buying and selling on the market. You can get a small amount while harvesting walker wrecks, or you can do quests given by the trade posts. These quests vary from scouting an oasis to killing rupus to delivering specific resources. They award a moderate amount of flots and experience and are generated every 6 hours. They are tile specific, so you can get a new quest every station that you go to. As an aside, I'd like to also mention that now trade items will transfer over to new tiles when the old ones burn, meaning you can put resources on the market pretty much indefinitely and not have to worry about them until they sell. Some other changes worth mentioning are things like the new Silas Walker, which can pack up and unpack a stone base that is crafted and attached to it. There's things like a new tile burner that takes 21 days to burn instead of the typical 10. The tech tree has been rearranged to require more unlocks on the lower tiers before going up. There are new rates for harvesting resources, which may be due to the beta branch, but still they exist. Clans are now capped at 50 players, and the collision has been updated on a lot of walkers to make some fun bugs like fireflies launching your friends wildly into the air. All in all, I think Donkey Crew did a good job with this update in adding more of a reason to be a survivor in Last Oasis. I think it's great that players can keep busy doing missions or trading resources between tiles, as an alternate to either farming tablets or just randomly rolling around looking for a fight in the desert. I think really the changes to making resources transfer on tile burn will be a huge part of building the player trade economy, as now you can basically set it and forget it, and I'm hoping that most players in a small or solo clan will use this as a new alternate storage strategy instead of logging in and out big vault walkers with tons of storage chests, and instead just sell everything at the market price and buy whatever you need to craft at the time using flots. Of course, this would require everyone to buy and sell everything, but in an ideal world,
he who controls the
flots
controls the universe.
As for the other changes, I do have some concerns. The missions can be easily abusable right now. By players spawning on an oasis and just auto-running into the desert to generate flots, I'd like to see either the reward nerfed or it modified to make and keep flots as being a valuable currency. It would also be nice if we could accept all the missions we come across, so we could do a Kill Rupa mission while at the same time we are gathering aloe for another mission, even if you could only take one of each mission type. When it comes to the auctions at trade stations, they definitely need to have a max bid option. Currently, the only way to bid is to wait until the last second and then input the highest necessary amount to win. Instead, if the current bid is 1,000 flots, I should be able to put down 2,000 in reserve, and it only increase the amount if someone else bids. The way things are now, even if the bid is only 1 flot, when you put 1,000 in, it will increase the current bid to that exact amount. Another concern I have is where items will go when a tile burns. If it works similar to walkers, then it will simply be the closest tile to the right. I think this means that over time, all the trade orders that will pile up on the left-hand edge of the map will make kind of a trade district, and the rightmost maps will essentially be staying as unreliable and irrelevant for anyone interested in trading. Another issue is the overcomplexity of the tile bidding system for reserve slots. Right now, you have to bid a day ahead of time and select a time block to bid on. This means that there are 7 different times to bid every day per tile, and you have to plan it out ahead of time for your clan. On top of that, there's no indication of a standard server time, so players from other parts of the world will have a very hard time planning when they would need to bid on that specific tile and that specific time frame. I think Donkey Crew tried to address the Zerg problem with this patch, but I don't think things have changed all that much. I like the cooldown that they added to cross-tile bed and walker spawns, but I think most clans will just choose a home tile and then go roaming with all their members already on board when in a different tile. To fix this, I would really like to see some changes to the current server clan cap system so it is more consistent with the size of clans for that area. For example, I'd like to see lanes that span from left to right on the world map for each of the tiles. You can imagine this as having all the 2-player servers spawning in the same lane from left to right, instead of just being randomly scattered throughout the entire server map. I think this would do well to allow smaller clans to operate in that general area of all of the smaller clan cap tiles, and the larger clans all to stay in their area, fighting each other in the large clan tiles. It would help push them together, and at the same time, all these large clans that are trying to move to the right will no longer have to deal with 2 or 5-player clan cap tiles that they now have to capture to stay in their lane and area of influence. Once the trade update is pushed to the main branch and stable, I think now all LO needs is more content for players to spend their time surviving in the Oasis. They need a reason to want to take out their walkers out of storage and risk things for having a good fight or to accomplish something. With the current quest system, it would be awesome to receive things like bounty hunter quests for players in your tile, or rare creatures that spawn with special augments or materials for gear. The Sandworm event would be one of these creatures. Even dungeons and other PvE type bosses would be nice, as it would keep players in-game and their walkers out of the lobby, so that these fights can start organically instead of an entire clan gearing up and roaming around only to find a solo farmer to kill. Obviously, there are some things that I've missed, and I'm still playing the update and discovering new small changes, as well as they are doing more patches to the stuff that I've covered here so far. If I've missed any, or you disagree with my suggestions, let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this and other MMOs. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.